Yo, what's up? What's happening with y'all, man? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. A lot has happened in life, in the world, and everywhere. And I finally am back, right? Last I left off on y'all was we talked about being fruitful, right? So if you haven't checked that one out, go back and check it out. It's pretty good. I think it spoke to me for sure. But if y'all haven't checked it out, check that mug out. Cause today I thought we was going to the next stage. I thought we was going to stage 5. But we ain't. God was like, nah, player. Nah, little son. Nah. Well, insert whatever y'all want to, say for nah, and then how you feel. He describes you. Anyway, God was like, nah. You didn't finish what I told you to finish. So today, I forgot to multiply. All right? So we was fruitful, but we didn't multiply. We forgot to multiply. So today we gotta stay on stage 4, stage 5. I don't even remember at this point. It's been, man. Anyway, let me not ramble. So today, we gotta and multiply. Because last time we was fruitful. So today we're gonna and multiply. First, let me explain to what multiply means. I got a definition for you. So the definition of multiply is increase or cause to increase greatly in number or quantity. Right? So there's a lot of places in the word where it says be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. And multiply, right? So a multiplication is 1 to a group, right? Because it's a great number. 1 to a group, or a group to a multitude, or 1 to a multitude. It's not a multitude to 1, or 1 to 1, right? That's not multiplying. Even 1 to 2 is not really multiplying. It kind of could get there, but we get confused, I think, when that multiplying is to increase in number, right? But many times in the word it says be fruitful and multiply and increase in number, and we use that multiply as an increase in number, right? Like, we be like, oh, God said, be fruitful and multiply. Like, it's not, y'all using that out of what he's saying. That multiply is not a physical multiply. Like, all right, a husband and a wife come together, they don't multiply. They add 1, right? Like, if it's twins, they add 2. They're not multiplying, because then it would be like 5. I mean, sometimes you can be like, husband and wife and then 5 kids. It happens. But that's not the multiplication that is referring to in the word, right? It's the Sermon on the Mount, right? It's Jesus preaching the gospel to thousands and multiplying their faith and multiplying the kingdom, right? That's where that and multiply comes from. He says that to Adam and Eve. Be fruitful and multiply. And subdue the world, right? Like, subdue the land and everything that comes with it. That and multiply is for the garden, right? It's for spreading the character that is God amongst the garden and tending to that and multiplying from there whatever and whoever is subdued under that umbrella of what is in the garden, right? So Matthew 25 there's the parabola. The parabola, not the parable. No, the parable. The parable, not the parabola, bro. Every time I get myself, I even spell it wrong on my paper and everything. The parable of the 3 servants, right? That are given different amounts. One's given 10, one's given 5, one's given 1. Something like that. And the servant that's given 10 multiplies that, right? He comes back with another 10. He doesn't come back with one more. He multiplies that. So if you take that, the one with 5 comes back with another 5, and the one who had 1 did nothing with it. He dug a hole, buried it, and then he gave him the 1 back, right? So take those, I forgot what they call them, talents. Take those talents, right? Instead of them being coins or pieces of money, say they are people in your life, right? You're the servant. God gives you 10 people in your life, or he gives you 5 people in your community, or he gives you 1 person in your community. There's 3 different levels of how you can treat that, right? Well, really 2, 3, but we're gonna focus on the 2 that are in the parable. You can multiply that and bring 10. You can speak life into 10, right? Speak faith, speak the word, explain love, and be the image of God, right? To 10 people or 5 people in this specific scenario, right? Those 5 people will then tell 5 more people each, right? That's multiplying the kingdom. That's multiplication for the kingdom. Or you could tell 1 person, and that 1 person tell 1 person, or that 1 person tell no people, because they don't have that community, because you guys don't have that community. It's just you and 1 other person. You are the community. So the multiplication comes into effect when groups turn into groups, turn into multitudes, right? And you see it through the generations and the lineages throughout the Bible. Like there's Abraham, and then there's Sarah, or Sarai, or Sarah, however you want to say it. And they have kids, and those kids have kids. And the faith that comes from Abraham is what's multiplying, because not only is it their lineage, but it's their whole community that prays to Abraham's God, right? I think that's kind of how they say it in the word. So they're multiplying the faith. They're multiplying the seed that God has planted in Abraham. Not only multiplying people, right? Because really, that's not really multiplying. That's just adding people to your group. That's just adding people to the community. Multiplying is more. It's going forth, right? It's worldwide. It's faster. It's gigantic. It's not 1-to-1. It's not a small. It's a great number of people that's being affected and changed and touched and reached, right? So, like I said, I think we get that confused, and I also think that we take on more, right, than when we should. It's not our job to save the souls. Like I feel like we are trying to capture a heart or capture a soul, and we try and convict them. Right? That, oh, you gotta believe in it. You gotta. That's not our job, bro. That's not our job. We're here to multiply, to give them the opportunity to plant seeds. God will do the rest. Jesus, that's his business, to save souls, right? Only he can. By the grace of God, I'm lucky that it's not on me, because I don't know if I would have the strength nor the knowledge or anything that would deem me adequate to be trying to save souls. But I can tell you who I pray to. I can tell you what has happened in my life. I can give you testimony. I can show you all the things that have changed and voluptuated in my life because of and since I have come under the umbrella of the faith of Christ. I'm gonna read this for a second, because I wrote it down and now I don't really even remember what I wrote down. There's many times in the Bible where Jesus talks to the multitude, and many times, most I think, where he performs miracles with very few or even no people to witness the miracle that he's doing, right? He even tells some people not to tell other people. Those moments are meant for the few, right? That's his part of the deal. He's the 1-to-1. He's changing souls. He's affecting lives. He's the one-to-one. He's adding people to the kingdom one at a time. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, boop, boop. That's not our deal. You're supposed to multiply those through what he's giving you. Tell everyone and lead as many people to God as you possibly can. That's your work in your life. You're not God, so don't think to put yourself in his role. Just do your part and multiply the faith in people as directed, right? He didn't tell you to save souls. He didn't tell you to flip over people in their lives. He told you to multiply your faith in others. Give them the tools, give them the keys, and expand the kingdom, right? Exodus 1:7 says, but the Israelites were exceedingly fruitful. They multiplied greatly, increased in numbers, and became so numerous that the land was filled with them. So that goes back to what I said. They multiplied greatly, right? They multiplied greatly, and they increased in number. Those are two separate things. As far as because you can have a group of people, right? You can have a group of people. Say it's 500 people, right? And I believe one thing, and they all believe 250 different things, right? I'm going to multiply my reach, my beliefs, my influence will multiply the more people I turn. My community will multiply the more people I bring under the umbrella of my beliefs, my community, the things, how I operate. So it's not just me anymore. It's 430 people. That's multiplying. Increasing in number, on the other hand, is just me increasing. Like I got me, and then I make another me. That's kind of like a clone, you know what I'm saying? Or like I get one more, then I get another, and then I get another. That's increasing in number, right? I'm explaining this the best way I know how. I know it might seem kind of weird, but we can't think of the multiplying as a number of people from me. The multiplying is a number of people like me, like-minded people, like we share beliefs. Those are multiplications. Increasing in number, there can be a whole bunch of people in a room, and the more people that walk in, that they're just in there, right? Like if you multiply, if you take multiplication down to its basis, say there's 28 people in a room. 7 of those people should be, if you're multiplying, there were 7 people in the beginning. This is long. This is not for my people that don't like math. 7 people in a room. Those people have a like-minded idea. If 7 more people come in that are totally opposite, and they get converted to thinking, however, those first 7 people, that's multiplying. If 7 people come in and they're all scattered, then that's increasing in number. Yeah, it's 14 people in a room, but they're not alike. And in multiplication, there should be a common number somewhere in that you multiply from to get that number, like 28. 28. If you multiply that by 4, you get 7, right? That's 4 groups of 7 people that are now one group of 28. That's multiplying. Increasing in number could be anything. You can have 6 people in a room and 500 people come in. That's increasing in number. That makes sense? I hope it makes sense. I hope y'all getting this breakdown of mathematicals. This is old school math. This ain't that new math. Luke 16:12 says, "And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own?" All right, so that's like what they're saying in that in reference to multiplication is, if you can't be trusted within yourself, it's not multiply time. It is not time for you to be multiplying, because we're gonna get to this in a second. Hard hearts don't multiply. They should not multiply. If you're teaching people bad ways, then you're multiplying bad things. When Pharaoh got a blessing, right? When Pharaoh got a blessing of relief from a plague, he became greedy and pride-filled and refused to allow for others to be blessed through him, right? Like, ended the plague, he had the opportunity every time to be like, all right, go ahead and go. You know what I'm saying? But instead, he stopped that blessing for other people. Like, those were not his blessings. Those were the people, those were the Israelites, bro. Those was Moses' people to be blessed. And he was like, no, nope, 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 nope. That was Pharaoh, in case y'all didn't get it. Nope, 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 nope. That's Pharaoh. Let me see where I'm at. All right. Exodus 11:9 said, the Lord has said to Moses, Pharaoh will refuse to listen to you so that my wonders may be multiplied in Egypt. He's not going after one person. He's taking one person, Pharaoh, and using a circumstance or a situation to multiply throughout Egypt for the kingdom of God. I can't say it no better than what he just said. God said it right there. He said it. Exodus 11:9. I'm gonna say it again. The Lord has said to Moses, Pharaoh will refuse to listen to you, so that my wonders may be multiplied in Egypt. That's what it says. That's the new NIV translation. That's what it says right there. I'm just saying. Then Mark 6:40 and 41 through the Amplified version says, they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties so that the crowds resembled an orderly arrangement of colorful garden plots. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing of praise and thanksgiving to the Father. Then he broke the loaves and repeatedly gave them to the disciples to set before the people. And he divided up the 2 fish among them all. So that's a direct what's the word I'm looking for? Translation of multiply. It's like not a translation. It's an example. It's trying to be an illustration. That's the word of multiplying, right? He has groups of 50. Groups of 50. Mind you, this is one large group of 5,000 plus people. He breaks them into groups of 50. Mind you, it's still one large group. They're all there for him. They're all united under one banner, and that's to listen to the sermon. He breaks them up into groups of 50. Boom, and starts handing them out food. Everybody's getting food. You getting food. You getting food. You getting food. Mind you, it's 50 groups of, it's probably, I guess, 100 groups of 50, right? Yeah, because it's 5,000, maybe something like that. And he's giving them all food. That's the illustration of multiplying, right? Jesus, I'ma just, don't crucify me on this one. Put yourself in this illustration. You're Jesus, right? You have the knowledge, you have the ability, you have everything that has been given to you by the Father. And it's all at your disposal, right? Everything, your whole life you've been working for this moment. Whatever you have within you stored up, you're giving to people at all times. You're giving it to them. Boom, bow. Everybody getting fish. You getting fish. You getting fish. Everybody getting fish and bread. Loaves and fishes. If y'all haven't watched The Chosen, then you won't get the reference. But loaves and fishes, he's passing them out. He's multiplying to those people. He's giving them, mind you, we all know what bread represents. That's the body. And we all know what fishes represents. Fishes, I don't know. Somebody knows. Y'all can leave y'all comments in below what fishes in the Bible represents. But he's giving himself to people, groups of people, 50. He could have just left them all in a group of 5,000. He could have just left them all and just gave them to each individual. But he broke them down so they would be in a tight-knit community, right? And be able to get that blessing as a unit and share amongst each other in a more intimate way, right? Yeah, that was good. But this goes back to that point. Hard hearts don't multiply. Be careful what you multiply, Because if you haven't stored up, if you haven't been in your word, if you haven't been to church, if you haven't been listening to sermons, if you haven't been around people that agree in faith like you do, whatever you've stored up in the world, wherever you've been at, whatever you've been listening to, whatever you've been watching, that's what you multiplying. You ain't got no word stored up in you, you can't give no word. If you ain't got no encouragements stored up in you, you can't give no encouragements. If you ain't got no love or peace or joy stored up in you, you gonna give hate and greed and envy and contentment. That's what you're giving off, by no fault of anybody else, but because of what you have available. If you go shopping and buy a whole gang of oranges, you can't get nobody no bananas because you ain't got no bananas. If people are there and they're here for bananas and all you got is apples and oranges, you giving apples and oranges, and that's not what people need. Like, maybe they're allergic to citrus and fiber or something, I don't know. You have to, which goes back to being fruitful. If you ain't got the fruit, you ain't ready to multiply. This is as simple as that. We can shut this down. I'm just playing. I still got a whole back sheet left. The back sheet ain't nothing but good words for y'all to go study and meditate on. All right. Well, I got one more point though. I do got one more point after this one. All right. So Numbers 13, 26 through 29, I think, in the Amplified version. This is what it says. They came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the sons of Israel in the wilderness of Paran and at Kadesh, and brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the land's fruit. They reported to Moses and said, "We went into the land that you sent us, and it certainly does flow with milk and honey, and this is the fruit. But the people who live in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified in the mid and very large. Moreover, we saw there the descendants of Anak, people of great stature and courage. The people descended from Amalek lived in the land of the Negev. The Hittite, the Jebusite, that's my favorite one to say. The Jebusite and the Amorite lived in the hill country, and the Canaanites lived by the sea and along the side of the Jordan." All right, so let me skip ahead for a second, and because then I'm gonna come back with a point. Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and take possession of it, for we will certainly conquer it." Hey, Caleb is that guy. Everybody needed Caleb in their squad. Everybody. But the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against those people, for they are too strong for us." So they gave the Israelites a bad report about the land which they had spied out, saying, "The land through which we went in spying it out is a land that devours its inhabitants." First of all, how is it devouring its inhabitants? If you just named all these inhabitants let me not even go into that. "And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And we saw the Nephilim." I just found out what Nephilim is. If y'all want to know, comment below. I have my boy break it down for you in one of these next videos. There we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, and part of the Nephilim, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. All right. So look, this is the point right here. You'll always have but then moments, right? You'll always have but then moments when times are hard and the enemy is pressing upon you from all sides. Even you know the promises, but it looks impossible. Where will your but then be placed? So again, it says, Caleb quieted the people and said, "For sure we can take them. Let's ride." But then everybody else was like, "We surely cannot take them. Are you crazy?" In this story, the "but then" is placed in a terrible spot, because what comes after it is terrible. It's just a whole bunch of them like, nah, we can't do it. We can't do it. I'm trying to tell them we can't do it. I seen them. It's the Nephilims. If it would have ended with, they gave a report, said we couldn't take it, but then Caleb quieted the crowd and everybody was eating milk and honey. That would have been a great ending to the story, right? Where is your butt then at, right? In those times when you're like, bro, there's no way I'm gonna get out of debt. There's no way I'm gonna ever get to see my son again. She tripping, he tripping. I ain't never gonna graduate. Are you placing a but then there, or are you like, bro, I'm almost done with school. I only got a couple months left, man. But I'm gonna look for this job, and they interview me. But then, where is your but then? How are you placing your sentence structure for your future? Are you negative but then positive? Or are you positive but then negative? That is going to greatly affect what you multiply into people. Because if somebody brings negative to you, your but then should be positive. If somebody brings positive to you, it shouldn't be no but then. Ain't no but then. All it should say is, mom told daughter they just won the lottery. Ain't no but then. That's it. That's the end of the sentence. Mom tells daughter they're losing house, but then daughter reminds mom how good God has been to them, and they're still. Those are the sentences that we need to be striving for. Where are you placing but thens in your life? I placed a lot of my but thens in the wrong spot, and only by the grace of God have I still been placed in the place I am. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of negative, but then Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's period. That's the end of that sentence. Because those are the multiplications you should be speaking into the lives of others. I know there's a lot of times where my sons be like, Dad, we ain't get no toy. We ain't get no toy. And then I hit them with, but we can come back. We can always come back. There's plenty of toys at the houses. We're going to more stores today. No need to be so aggravated. You don't know the end of the story yet. It's not even the end of the day. So those but thens are hope. Those but thens are your faith. Sometimes your faith is weak and you don't got the strength to put your but then in the right spot. That's when you call upon God. That's when you spend time in prayer. I know I'm going into fasting. What's today? I don't know, like Monday, Tuesday. I'm going into fasting sometime soon because my but thens ain't been that strong. They ain't been coming that often. And I need to spend time with God to rejuvenate myself and get my but then right. Yeah. All right, now I think I got two more scriptures for y'all to read, meditate on, and then we can discuss it at a later time. All right, Genesis 8:17 says, bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number. See how it's like those are three different things? Multiply, be fruitful, and increase in number. So with the birds and the animals, he puts it in a different order, right? Like they can multiply because they're birds and animals, and then they can be fruitful as far as like teaching how they're young to survive in the world or whatever, and then they can increase in number. You know what I'm saying? Genesis 9:7 says, as for you, the person I made in my likeness, a human, a man, a woman, a son of God. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. See how he goes back and says, multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Multiply on earth and increase upon it. Be fruitful, multiply on earth and increase upon it. Don't get your multiply and your increase mixed up. Those are not the same thing. Multiply and increase. First, be fruitful. What do you have within you? What's stored up in here? In your heart, in your mind, in your spirit. What do you have that you're about to be giving to somebody when you multiply? What are you speaking to? What are you seeing? What are you doing that you're about to change your life with? And then increase in number. Once you got your multiply down, you're, you know what I'm saying, once you been doing this, then you increase, then you bring life, then you start a community, then you get deep in the weeds on increasing in number. Because first you gotta multiply, even if it's just husband and wife. Because if I speak life into my wife, she gonna speak life into everybody that she work with, and so on and so forth. And if we're not speaking life into each other and into others, how we gonna speak life into our children? How we gonna multiply into our increase? That's our increase. The increase is for us. You know what I'm saying? The multiply is for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? In my household, it's me and my wife. We multiply. You know what I'm saying? We share. We give each other knowledge and faith and try and make sure we're humble. And then we increased in numbers with our sons. And we multiply with them. We multiply with them little suckers so they can multiply when they're at school, when they're at daycare, when they're in the house with mommy. Cause love, peace, joy, happiness, kindness, all that's multiplication. You gonna see the fruits of that multiplication. That's the spirit at work right there. And I'm passionate about it. I want y'all to be multiplying God-like traits before y'all increase in number. Because if you're multiplying the wrong fruit, your increase is going to be rotten in a mug. This is a warning. I'm telling you from experience. I see my youngest son and I'm like, he's just like I was when I was a young child. When I didn't have no good fruit. Not to say my son ain't no good fruit. That's some of my best fruit I ever produced. You know what I'm saying? But without the fruit that I have in order that I'm putting in him, I'm packing this good fruit. Oh man, I press down, shake it up, stir it around until it floweth over on this young boy. Because I see, looking back on myself and looking into my son's eyes, the products of unfruitful multiplication. And I don't want that for my son. So I'm not gonna allow my increase to be rotten fruit that I multiply. That's not gonna happen. So this is a warning and a declaration. Make sure your fruit is right. Make sure your fruit is right. Then you multiply. Before you even start thinking about increasing in number, you should be multiplying with. All right, see, it's gonna sound weird when I say it, but after all this, if y'all made it to this point, you know what I'm talking about. Don't twist my words up. You should be multiplying with everybody. Anybody should be getting this fruit that you got. Not the seed that you got, the fruit that you got. It's a totally different thing. Now, like I said, if y'all haven't checked out the last video about being fruitful, then you need to go check that out to make sure that all this context is in the right spot. So go check out Being Fruitful, and after you check out Being Fruitful, go check out all the other videos, because it's a step-by-step on how to live your life in relation with others, with God, and with yourself. So until next time, I'm trying not to make it so long. Try not to make it so long before I get back at y'all. Until next time, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.